Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning, San Antonio. I'm Jonathan Cotto. It's Monday, June 19th. And listen, it's been really, really hot out there and humid.
It's miserable. Like you walk,
and it just smacks you in the face.
It smacks you in the face. There's no hiding from it. The only place where you can really hide Justin Horn is inside in the AC.
I feel like you're setting me up for failure here, Sarah. Like everyone's not going to like me now.
I do my best.
It is hot, really hot, and we're not going to get away from this for a long while. Looks like the heat's going to stay in place. Now, there could be a couple of chances for storms mixed in down the line. I'll show you that coming up. But right now, let's talk about the clouds. We've got some low clouds in place. This always helps us a little bit. Keeps temperatures from getting too out of control early, but those clouds do go away. There are excessive heat warnings in effect for the entire area, where we're going to see heat indices jump up above 110 yet again this afternoon. So here's some of the weather headlines. You can see the clouds right now, a little bit of sun shining through. Could we see a record high today? It's possible. Plus, we could see some record heat indices once again. And yes, there is a possibility of a stray storm in the hill country. And what about the tropics? Where does Brett go? We don't have officially a named storm yet, but it's close. It's about to be Brett, and I'll show you that coming up. 82 right now. Dew point is at 75. South-southeasterly winds at 8. In our forecast today, 90 at noontime. Your feels like number is already up to around 109 by 3 o'clock, 111 by 4 p.m. with a high temperature somewhere around 103, I think, this afternoon. That's where we were yesterday. If we get there, that would be a record, or at least it would tie a record for this date. We just keep breaking records left and right, but we don't want to be breaking records on the roadways.
Not at all. That would not be great. And Justin, things haven't been too great over here at 35 at St. Mary's. Let's go ahead and get a wider look at TransGuide. Let me tell you what's going on here, folks, because we have the exit there to Brooklyn Avenue that is blocked off, and it's been that way since 10:40 last night. This is all due to a trash fire that happened right at that water drainage system underneath the highway, which made it very difficult for first responders to get to. Obviously, they had to close down that highway for several hours, but you can see the lanes have reopened. It's just that exit there that has been blocked off, and it could be because crews are out there inspecting the integrity of the roadways. So just remember, move over or slow down. It doesn't really seem like it's causing so much of an issue with traffic, but we're going to keep a close eye on that. The exit again closed there in the upper level at exit to Brooklyn Avenue. Not causing a big delay for right now, but just keep that in mind as your commute does get moving. Also keep this in mind. Lots of road work taking place in and around the Alamo City. And as a quick reminder, 281 on the north side of San Antonio, we're going to see curb construction begin probably right about now. It starts around 9 in the morning, should wrap at 3 in the afternoon. So be on the lookout, because this is going to take us all the way to the end of the work week. Friday, June 23rd, we're going to see single lane closures on the southbound frontage road right there at Borgfeld Road. Scan this QR code. It takes you directly to our KSAT traffic page. I've updated the list of current closures on our website, so always make sure to know what to expect before you hit the San Antonio roadways. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. This morning, San Antonio firefighters say a trash fire under an overpass caused multiple lanes of I-35 to be shut down overnight. It happened just after 10:30, just west of downtown. Now, fire crews say the fire was inside the water drainage area underneath I-35, so they had a tough time putting it out. The story so far is posted on KSAT.com.
Well, 2 people are in the hospital after a police chase ended in a 3-car pileup. San Antonio police say it happened just after 10 last night on the city's southwest side. A red truck was involved in a police chase when it ran a light and hit an SUV at the intersection of Southwest Military and New Laredo Highway, according to police. The SUV then hit a white truck. The driver of the SUV had to be rescued by first responders and was taken to the hospital in serious condition. A child in the SUV also had minor injuries, and a passenger in the white truck suffered a broken arm. The driver accused of causing that crash had no injuries and no word yet on any charges.
Investigators are looking into what sparked an early morning fire downtown. This was the scene around 4:30 on East Commerce near North Presa. Right now, information is limited. We can tell you crews put out a small fire outside of a building. The flames did not get inside. We'll bring you more information as it becomes available.
Here's a look at today's 9 at 9. Dozens of people were hurt and killed from a string of mass shootings over the weekend. A party in St. Louis left 1 person dead and 9 injured. In Illinois, at a Juneteenth celebration, 22 people were shot and 1 was killed. 5 more shootings happened in Chicago. According to the Gun Violence Archive, there have been 310 mass shootings in the U.S. this year.
13 people are dead and 20 are missing after an extratropical cyclone hit Brazil on Sunday. Officials have made over 2,000 rescues so far. As those operations continue, the federal government has committed to offering humanitarian aid and reconstruction efforts.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with China's top diplomat today. A State Department spokesperson says the two had a candid and productive discussion. Blinken's trip to China is the first by a U.S. Secretary of State in 5 years. Blinken is also set to meet with the Chinese president later today.
States are accelerating efforts to block Chinese purchases of U.S. agricultural land. Advocates say the U.S. needs to protect its food supply and military bases, while critics worry about discrimination. Less than 1% of foreign-owned farmland in the U.S. belongs to Chinese investors.
The Kansas Bureau of Investigation says at least 100 suspicious letters containing white powder went out to legislators and other public officials. Lab work on a small sample of them indicates that they are negative for common agents. Officials say more testing is in the works.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers in Arizona seized 242 pounds of illegal swim bladders, the organ that helps fish control their buoyancy. Authorities say the bladders came from the totuaba fish, which has been endangered since 1979. Border agents say smugglers hid them inside a commercial shipment of frozen fish fillets.
West Virginia University men's basketball coach Bob Huggins has stepped down following an arrest for a DUI. Police say he had a blood alcohol level of 0.21. That's nearly 3 times the legal limit. The arrest comes weeks after Huggins was suspended for 3 games and docked pay for using a homophobic slur during an interview.
A new study from scientists at the University of Melbourne shows access to hormone therapy can improve the mental health of transgender people. Researchers also found a clinically significant decrease in depression. This included a more than 50% reduction in suicidal tendencies among a study of participants who didn't have to wait to start hormone therapy.
Actress Linda Hamilton is taking on a new role, joining the cast of Stranger Things for its 5th and final season. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Hamilton's Terminator co-star, announced Hamilton's news on Saturday. It's unclear what role she'll play in season 5. Production on the show is on hold right now because of the writer's strike. And that's today's 9 at 9.
Players tee off for a good cause at the Juneteenth annual golf tournament this morning.
Tiffany Huertas joins us live from the club at Santerra, where this event promises a day of fun, excitement, and all while raising funds for children. Good morning, Tiff.
Good morning. Today's one of those days that I'm very happy. It's a little cloudy out here. It is humid, but this is all for a good cause. So you see the sun coming out just now. It's going to be a great day. This morning, we have Byron Miller. He's the Juneteenth commissioner. Good morning.
Good morning, Tiffany. How are you?
Great. Tell me a little bit about this event.
Well, it's a great event. We've done it now for 26 years, going on 27. We're out here at Santerra Country Club, and it's something that is indicative of what we do during the 19th of June celebrations here in the city of San Antonio.
What's going to happen here today?
Well, we're at a golf course, so there's going to be a lot of golf going on, and hopefully a lot of fun, a lot of people hitting the ball straight.
What's your favorite part of today?
The people just coming out. Some haven't seen each other in a while, and just to acknowledge the fact that, you know, we're here playing a game that for many of us was not allowed. We could caddy, we could keep the grounds, we could cook in the kitchen, but we couldn't play on the course. And that's not Santerra. Santerra's always been a great, gracious country club for all who are members.
All of this is to support the Miller Child Development Center. That's so special.
Absolutely. The Miller Child Development Center was started by Hazel Miller, who happens to be my mother, and it's the first child development center, and it's the oldest child development center serving the children on the eastern sector of San Antonio. And so we're all excited because we make sure we prepare these kids to come through the Miller Child Development Center for their next opportunity, whether it's pre-K, kindergarten, or first grade.
What a wonderful event. Well, we're so excited. We're going to catch up with the golfers. We kind of lost them there, right?
Well, we took that left when we should have took the right.
But it's okay. It's going to be a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to give you a little bit more in the next half hour. We'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Tiff. Thanks, guys. Hey, y'all stay hydrated and cool out there.
That's right. Make sure to get lots of water. And still coming up at GMSA at 9.
Before we head to break, if you want to keep up with us, this is a reminder to visit your app store and update the latest improved version of our KSAT News app. There is a new Apple and Google Play Store update that addresses performance improvements and bug fixes.
In your morning headlines, a wild water rescue in Florida and jobs for teenagers this summer with good pay.
An emotional win at the U.S. Open, and Taylor Swift sets another record. David Sears joins us now in studio. Good morning, David.
She's breaking all kinds of records all spring and summer long.
She's pretty much the best.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Good morning. Yes. Hey, we're going to start with this rescue. It happened in Florida. Ton of water, drain pipe, and a highway. Watch and listen to this.
Can you believe what just happened to us? You okay, buddy? Can you believe what happened to us?
Yeah, what you are watching is body cam video of an incredible rescue. Heavy rains in Escambia, Florida. A county deputy was trying to help someone stranded. He was a motorist, and he was trying to get through the flooded waters when he tried to help that person who was going underwater. Next thing you know, they both got sucked into a drainage pipe. That pipe they were in went under a 4-lane road. So here's the amazing part. They both came out on the other side, about 100 feet from where they went in. Once again, they are both lucky to be alive, and oh, what a story to tell. Hey, when it comes to working, workers are working less hours this summer, and that means teenagers may have a better chance of getting a good paying job these days. Full-time employees are working fewer hours, how about 34.3 a week? That is about where it was before the pandemic. Those numbers are according to the Wall Street Journal. People just not working those extra hours. They want a better work-life balance. So that opens it up for teenagers this summer at jobs, places like amusement parks, lifeguards, summer camp, and sports instructors.
You know, teens are relatively low paid compared to other workers in the labor force. That's going to be an advantage for employers to hire teens.
Yeah, define low pay. That low pay is pretty good compared to the past. Some of these jobs are paying an average of $15 an hour, up 9% from last year. Some construction jobs for the summer, about $18 an hour. Some jobs automatically paying more in certain states that raise their minimum wage. And congratulations to Wyndham Clark. He won his first major golf tournament yesterday, the U.S. Open. It is only his second win. He has one on the PGA Tour, and it was an emotional one. He lost his mother to cancer 10 years ago and has been playing for her ever since. He said on many occasions that she was his rock. A year ago, Clark was ranked 293rd in the world. A year later, he is a major golf champion. And finally, the Taylor Swift Summertime Tour continues, and she is smashing all kinds of records. Over the weekend, she was in the stadium there in Pittsburgh. 73,000 of her fans showed up. That stadium's largest concert crowd ever. Garth Brooks had the old record at 72,000. And since it is her home state, she invited Aaron Dessner. He's the front man for The National. She invited him up to the stage. Apparently, they did a song together a couple of years ago on an album back in 2020. So they performed it, which surprised the crowd. So there you go. Way to go, Taylor.
And you know who else is smashing records right now?
The Heat.
The Heat, that's right.
Mother Nature smashing some records.
Mother Nature is smashing records.
Mother Nature can stop.
Oh.
She can stop.
No more smashing records, please.
Thank you, David.
Uh-huh.
Can you tell her to stop, Justin?
I'm going to do my best. I've put in some requests.
Okay.
I haven't heard back.
I heard you're like this with her.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Things are heated.
Yeah. It's been a rough stretch, guys. 10 days now, 10 days, where we've had heat indices of 100 plus. And we've got several more days ahead. This streak's going to continue. Now, during the summer, we often see heat indices above 100. This isn't a huge deal, but I think what kind of stands out here is how high these heat index values have been. And a lot of that has to do with how thick the humidity has been. It's been all about the humidity. It's made all the difference. So our high temperatures here last several days in range, a little high, a little bit above average, but nothing crazy. 103 yesterday. but it's the heat index. When you factor in that thick humidity, when you get a heat index of 115, which is the highest heat index we've recorded at San Antonio International since records have been kept, that's where we start to get into this trouble. And we had a heat index yesterday, peak heat index of 112. We're probably there again today with a high temperature somewhere around 103, 104. Heat index will be somewhere around 112. So we're right back where we were basically yesterday and the day before. Clouds are helping us out a little bit. We've got some morning clouds. They're starting to kind of break apart, though, already. We're at 82 at the airport, 83 in New Braunfels, 82 Hondo. It's sunny in Uvalde, 80 there. In Round Bear County, we'll call it mostly cloudy at the moment, 80 in Helotes, and 79 right now in Bulverde. There's a look outside, and yeah, the low 80s across the board here. Southeasterly winds anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour. The dew points, what's incredible to me is these numbers haven't shifted much. You would expect these numbers to start going down a little bit, and they have during the afternoon, but the mornings have just been stifling with these dew points near 80. So this just has not changed, and as long as these dew points are as high as they are, we're still going to have these issues with the heat index. Already feels like 92 in New Braunfels. Already feels like 85 Canyon Lake. 89 is what it feels like in Converse. Feels like 90 right now in Stinson. In our KSAT 12-hour forecast, 94 at 1 o'clock, 98 2 p.m. Our high temperature, I'd say somewhere around 103, and that puts the heat index up around 111, 112. So as we've been saying all week, over the last week at least, be careful out there. 103 is what it will feel like at 9 o'clock. Even at 10 p.m., we've got a heat index around 102. As far as storms go today, we've had storms last couple days up around Kerrville, Fredericksburg. There's a risk for that today. It's small risk, isolated, but Hill Country could see a stray storm, and the computer models have hinted at that. The rain chance here in San Antonio is pretty much zero. I think it all stays north of us. But as we get later into the week, I think the door does open up a little bit that maybe some of these storms could slide a little bit closer to San Antonio. But this model, 6, 7 o'clock this evening, does show some action up there around Fredericksburg. Chances, again, are pretty low. 104 tomorrow, we'll put in a 20% chance of rain in the Hill Country. 10% chance on Wednesday as we officially go into summer, and it feels like it. 101 Thursday, 99 Friday, maybe our coolest day. But it's Wednesday and coolest in quotes. But it's Wednesday and Thursday that we have that small chance of a storm maybe making it to San Antonio, but it's a low chance. I mean, we're really digging deep here to find some positivity in this forecast.
Okay, I asked you this on Sunday about the shade.
Yeah.
Can I get a shade graphic? You know, like what if you walk in the shade? Is it full shade?
Those temperatures are for the shade, yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry.
There's no hope. Okay, maybe this weekend.
There's some hope.
Maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
No lower humidity. Okay. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Justin. Folks, time is 9:19. Temperature 82 degrees.
In honor of Juneteenth today, we're highlighting a newspaper that has been a voice of the African American community for years. After the break, we'll show you how the San Antonio Observer is reaching a new audience.
Historically, even the smallest newspapers have been considered the voice of the African American community, and there's been several on the east side over the years, but there's a free weekly out every Wednesday that's still around.
So along with events and accomplishments, our Jesse Delgado says the San Antonio Observer also has a harder news edge of interest of readers throughout the city.
The front page cover stories grab your attention. Just exactly what the San Antonio Observer wants.
You're not going to be heard unless you're loud in some way, shape, or form.
Imagery is the hook, says its editor and publisher Stephanie Zarello and her husband Wasim Ali. His father, the late Hussein Ali, started the San Antonio Observer in his garage nearly 30 years ago. But unlike other East Side community newspapers,
nobody was really talking about politics.
The San Antonio Observer took on politics and controversy with headlines like, "I'm scared," after a rash of police shootings on the East Side back then.
Did he face any backlash as a result?
Oh my God, yeah.
A little setback, it's like a slingshot. We get set back, but we'll get shot forward at some time. We just have to be patient.
One of their regular columnists, historian Mario Salas, says after all, they owe it to their readers.
Black media creates a network of people that want to know what's going on but may not pick it up anywhere else but that newspaper.
I think that they know the Observer still has their back. If nobody else will, let me call the Observer.
Yet long before the Observer was first published in 1995.
This bus bench still says register in stylized letters, the predecessor of the San Antonio Observer.
The Alis bought the San Antonio Register, first published in 1931, but no longer in circulation. Much of the focus now, the online version of the San Antonio Observer, extending its reach beyond the East Side community.
You know, it's designed to open everybody's minds, to give you a different perspective.
Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
Let's look ahead now at some city closures today in honor of Juneteenth holiday. That includes all city libraries, the municipal court, and all Metro Health clinics and offices. Now, some city services will remain available. Animal care services will be open. You can visit also all the city parks and trails, but if you do so, please stay hydrated, stay cool, stay safe.
Definitely, folks. It's 9:25, 82 degrees, but there's still a lot more ahead on GMSA at 9.
A Metro Health survey says 1 in 5 teens in San Antonio struggle with mental health. The next half hour will show an insight into some new mental health classes being offered for teenagers.
And as we head to a quick break, a check of the roads. This is I-35 at St. Mary's. This is the exit at Brooklyn southbound lanes. There was a fire there earlier, and I think we still have a little bit of that remnants there, but should be open up soon. We'll be checking in with Steven Cavazos after the break.
A day on the green to help raise money for children at the Juneteenth annual golf tournament this morning.
That's right, and Tiffany Huerta is there right now at the club at Sonterra with this event. How will it impact lives of local kids?
Good morning. We've been trying to catch up with these golfers, but it's been a little bit complicated because they're moving fast this morning. We have Byron again with us. Byron, tell us a little bit more about this event and the fundraising that goes behind it.
Sure. Hey, Tiffany, well, we thank you all again for having us on your TV station, and that's very important. But, you know, we've been doing this for 27 years, and it's something that we passionately do because it's for the 19th of June. And the proceeds do go to help young children from infancy on with child development with the Miller Child Development Center. And so we've just been real pleased that over the last 54 years now, we've been able to offer the services of our center as the longest continuous child development center serving the citizenry of San Antonio and primarily the kids from the eastern sector of San Antonio.
And today, the 19th, tell us about today.
Well, as you know, in 1865, Texas got word that the Civil War was over. They got word that Abraham Lincoln had been assassinated. And then they also got word that by General Order Number 3, that they were free to go out and be citizens, well, not even citizens, but to be no longer slaves, because citizenship didn't come to much later, nor did the right to vote. But at least on that day, they were no longer a slave, and they could go out and work and engage in contracts and buy property and do all the things that people that had the rights to do that were here that they didn't have, that now they could.
How are you feeling seeing about 40 golfers here participate today?
Oh, well, we're good about that. You know, it's a hot day, and so a lot of the golfers decided that they were going to take the day off, but that's okay. And we're here with a nice overcast, to be honest. So, you know, the golf gods were favorable to us.
Yes, they were. Well, thank you for joining us. And we're going to chat a little bit more. We're going to try to catch up with maybe some of these golfers, right?
Exactly.
All right. We'll send it back to you, and we'll bring you the latest coming up on the noon show.
Thank you, Tiffany. With the heat coming in strong the past couple of days, Houston is under an excessive heat warning through tomorrow night.
Here's a report from our sister station in KPRC about what they're doing to prepare.
With this excessive heat warning in effect until at least tomorrow, with temperatures above 100, people across Houston are taking it seriously and doing what they can to stay cool.
Oh, it was super hot.
As the heat holds tight to Houston, Houstonians are having a hard time finding relief.
You're going to be sweet and funny?
It was an early Father's Day for Michael and his daughter at Discovery Green. They're trying to take advantage of the morning's cooler temps and doing what they can to beat the heat.
Pool, lots of drinks, lots of water for the kids. Probably inside for a little while and just making everything count.
Health experts say with temperatures as hot as they are, limit your time outside. And if you are outside, do it in the early morning or late evening.
I get my exercise early in the morning. I normally start at 5.
Charles Danforth says he has been limiting his time outside, especially in the middle of the day.
With the temperatures like they are now, stay inside with air conditioning. Right. My wife and I went out for a walk at 2 o'clock yesterday, but it was a short walk because, the humidity with the temperature is just uncomfortable. It's not pleasant.
As Houston sweats, people are thinking of best practices to stay safe and cool. Experts say the best thing you could do if you have to be outside is to drink plenty of water and wear light-colored, loose-fitting clothing. In Montrose, I'm TJ Parker, KPRC 2 News.
We're also under an extensive heat warning here in Bexar County and most of South Texas. Most of Texas, really, Justin. And I mean, we're also experiencing that severe humidity.
Yeah, basically the whole southern half of the state, right, is under this excessive heat warning. We've all got to be careful here with this kind of heat. And one thing yesterday that was nice is, we had a storm blow up right over Curve, though, and it sent some clouds in our direction by the late afternoon here in San Antonio. Did a little bit. Helped cool us down maybe a degree, but we got some really cool clouds that came in. These are what are called mammatus clouds. And you can get them often with thunderstorms kind of on the backside of them, and it shows the turbulence in the atmosphere. But they do kind of look like little bubbles there. Great shot of it. We appreciate you sending that into our KSAT Connect. And that storm quickly died down. We did not see any rain here in San Antonio. Meantime, yes, we do have a little bit of cloud cover this morning. And that helps some too, but these clouds are starting to break up and the sun will be out here very, very soon. Already seeing some sun shining through as we look over our great city at this hour. 84 right now, dew point is at 75. That number has been the problem really the entire time. But that dew point that high, that's where you get the big time heat indices. 92 is what it feels like right now. In the KSAT 12-hour forecast, look for that heat index to jump over 100 by 1 o'clock. And then by the afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock, we've got a heat index near 111, maybe even up to 112 with a high temperature of 103, which, by the way, would be pretty close to a record or would tie the record for this date. So the heat stays with us. Any relief in sight? There's a couple days that we want to look at. Plus, in the tropics, we've got a developing system. We'll show you where it's headed coming up here in just a couple minutes. Guys.
Thank you, Justin.
And taking a look out at those San Antonio roadways again, I-35 at St. Mary's, those southbound lanes by the Brooklyn exit. There was a fire there earlier. We're going to be keeping an eye on this and also checking in with Stephen Cavazos later.
Okay, experts agree youth mental health has become a crisis nationwide, and here locally, a survey through Metro Health shows at least 1 in 5 teenagers in San Antonio say they're struggling with their mental health.
And that's why professionals across the city are offering new classes for teenagers, empowering them and improving their communication skills. A local mom told KSAT's Camelia Juarez how her children began to opening up to her after taking these classes.
When the pandemic came, I noticed that emotionally they were held back.
LaToya Morgan says her 2 children became closed off and consumed by screen time after the COVID-19 pandemic. That's why she enrolled them in the Bridges to Care program through the National Alliance on Mental Illness, or NAMI. Mental health specialists bring these classes to nearly 80 faith-based congregations around San Antonio. Morgan says her kids started opening up after the classes.
But now it's more like, okay, well, this is what's going on at school. This is what's going on with my friends. Like, it's just more conversation is being had since she's been helping with us all together with the expressing themselves.
The classes teach mindfulness, boundaries, and elevating communication in relationships. Donna Acosta with NAMI says these lessons give teenagers a lifelong tool belt.
It is about empowering our youth with knowing the language and how to talk about what's going on for themselves and how to identify those trusted adults to be able to reach out to and help them, support them.
Parents are kept in the loop about lessons. Morgan says she's learning along with her children.
It just seems like they're able to learn now how to express, because even as adults, we don't know how to express ourselves sometimes.
That was Camelia Juarez reporting. In your morning consumer news, Microsoft now says disruptions earlier this month to some of its biggest services, including email and file sharing, were cyber attacks. The company confirming that it was hit by a denial of service attacks from Hacktivist Group.
Movie chain Cinemark is bringing back its summer movie clubhouse deal, offering family-friendly movies on Wednesdays for $1.50. The movies include Sonic the Hedgehog and DC League of Super Pets.
And now to some trending stories on KSAT.com. There's a new Margaritaville resort in South Padre with 200 guest rooms and 50 beachfront condos. South Padre joins the list of Margaritaville resorts alongside Crystal Beach and Lake Conroe. Reservations are already open, and you'll never lose your shaker of salt at these beautiful resorts.
H-E-B will be opening a rebranded convenience store with more food options today in Lytle. H-E-B says Fresh Bites will have a grand opening this morning at 9 a.m. It will also include a True Texas Tacos restaurant. The store will be open daily starting at 4 a.m. The True Texas Tacos will be open from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's unclear when these new stores will start popping up here in San Antonio.
And did you know there's a Texas state park that lets you dig for fossils and keep what you find? The Texas Mineral Wells Fossil Park, located at 2375 Indian Creek Road in Mineral Wells, is open daily from dawn to dusk. Fossil hunters are encouraged to bring small zip closed bags to hold their fossils and knee pads if they plan on crawling around.
Well, if you feel like there's been more shootings and crime recently, you're not alone.
You know, we've covered numerous high-profile shootings, and it seems like we've seen a jump in violent crime over the last few months.
San Antonio Police Chief William McManus joined us on Leading SA yesterday to talk about what is going on. Max Massey reports.
Chief McManus joined us. We talked about a lot. We talked about how technically violent crime is down, even though arrests are up. And we also talked about what the last string of those high-profile violent crimes have looked like and some of the reasoning behind them. We also talked about accountability. Here's a bit of our conversation.
If people who commit crimes understand that there's no real accountability for or consequence for what they do, they're likely, and this is a study, they're likely to commit crime again. There has to be accountability. They have to understand that for sure something's going to happen to them as a result of the crime that they commit. And I'm speaking not only about violent crime, but I'm speaking about property crimes as well.
The chief also went into detail about a new study that showed the need for more officers. He said that the preliminary study showed the need for more than 360 more police officers. That was just a bit of our conversation. You can see the whole interview right now. Just head to the Leading SA section of KSAT.com. We have Leading SA every Sunday at 8 a.m. So, guys, we'll see you next Sunday. Back to you.
All right, time is 9:40, temperature 83 degrees. You're watching GMSA at 9.
Besides learning during summer break, staying active just as important. Coming up, we'll tell you about a gymnastics camp happening and how they are keeping things fun for the kiddos. Well, we know there are many activities for your little ones this summer. Today we are flipping through summer at Olympia Gymnastics.
That's right. Between all of the fun activities, I explained why gymnastics camp is a good choice for your kids this summer. Flipping, jumping, running, and playing are just some of the things your kids can do at Olympia Gymnastics this summer.
We offer an environment that is safe, that parents know they can trust what is going on in the gym.
Brad and Jamie Speed bought the gym 11 years ago. They fell in love with the sport of gymnastics after their daughters started participating. The Speeds put an emphasis on getting to know the families.
One of our strengths as the owners and operators of the gym is building relationships with our families.
Olympia Gymnastics offers recreational and competitive gymnastics programs, but they also offer camps for parents who are looking for ways to get their kids active. Their summer camps run from the end of May until mid-August. Each week has a different camp theme. Some of the themes include circus, Olympics, and superheroes.
Each 4 hours is based on the theme that we run that week, and the activities and games are all based around the theme.
Parents can sign their kids up for half or full day camps. A normal day camp includes games and learning instructional gymnastics. It is best to send your kids to camp in comfortable and movable clothes since they will be running around and flipping throughout their camp day.
But other than that, just bring a happy, fun attitude.
Gymnastics experience is not required for kids to join the camps. Spots are still open for all of Olympia Gymnastics summer camps. To enroll your kid in a camp this summer, head over to KSAT.com.
A good way to stay out of the heat, too.
I was going to say the same thing. Indoors.
Yeah. AC, man, that's the way to go. Yeah, and if you're going to be outside, we just saw that story earlier. I know it's like common sense stuff, and you're probably tired of hearing it, but the water thing is real, and the running in the morning or the
if you have things to do outside, time's ticking. Like, you don't really have much left before it gets unbearable and dangerous.
Yeah, we're pretty much to that point now because temperatures are jumping into the mid 80s, and it feels like it's in the 90s already. So before we get to the heat, let's talk tropics. Could we get any relief from the tropics? Well, I don't think that what we have out here is going to head towards Texas, at least at this point. But we do need to watch it because not only do we have this, which is going to be Brett here anytime. Hurricane Center is going to name this. This is pretty much a foregone conclusion. But this system, too, has the potential to develop and has a high likelihood of development. So 40% chance, in fact, I think that probably goes up. Looks pretty good. And this is about to be Brett, as we said. Where does it go? That's the next question. So we put the spaghetti plot here. And right now, earlier this was curving this off to the north into the Atlantic, but now wants to take it across the islands and towards Puerto Rico, potentially, Dominican Republic. It's still too early to say. These aren't incredibly reliable, but they have kind of honed in on this idea that it will continue west. And if it does, then we'll have to see what happens from there. Still a lot of time to watch this. And as I said, it will be named Brett. Cindy, Don, Emily, Franklin, and Gert next on the line to get named if we do indeed get there. We'll see how active the season is. The forecast is for it to be rather average, but we're going to have to an early start out there in the Atlantic. 84 right now. Dew point is at 75. There's the heat index, 92. You can see the haze across the city of San Antonio. So much humidity. Still probably a little bit of light smoke coming in, but that hasn't really been much of an issue. It's just been this really thick air. 77, the dew point, Bernie State, 77, Canyon Lake, 77 in New Braunfels. These are extremely high. It is extremely thick air still. And the numbers come down a little bit during the afternoon, but not a lot. Not enough to really keep these heat indices in check. 95 is what it feels like right now in New Braunfels. Feels like 92 at Stinson. Feels like 93 in Castroville. So we've already got those heat indices jumping into the 90s. This is where I think we end up this afternoon. Heat index here in San Antonio potentially of 112, 115 Pleasanton, 115 in Pearsall. Again, 10 days in a row now where we've had a heat index 100 or above, and many of those days have been 110 or above. Energy consumption, yeah, we're going to need that today. To CPS Energy Yellow Day. Basically, you follow your normal everyday conservation measures, but there's a few other things you can do there to conserve electricity, especially between 3 and 8 o'clock. ERCOT continues to tell us they have plenty of energy. We'll continue to monitor that as we continue to put the streak together of extreme heat, not only here, but across Texas, and that does put stress on the grid. As we look at the big picture here, low spinning up here across parts of Tennessee. You got storms out ahead of this frontal boundary, and that's where most of the severe weather will be today. But here in Texas, there's an outside chance. We've seen this last couple of days. It's been kind of like clockwork up here around Kerrville and Fredericksburg, so a couple of storms popping up. If they do, there's a threat that they could be strong to severe hail, gusty winds main threats. And I think that these storms generally stay north of San Antonio. And that's what the Futurecast is showing with storms in this case, staying north of Fredericksburg. I still think Kerrville, over to maybe as far south as Bernie, has a chance to see an isolated storm this afternoon. We may have a chance, too, Wednesday, Thursday here in San Antonio as the pattern shifts just a little bit. I think we could see a stray storm or two, but I wouldn't get too excited about it. Rain chances are going to be very low, and temperatures continue to be very high. 104 tomorrow, 103 Wednesday, 101 Thursday, and triple digits even going into the weekend. You know, there's Friday, 99. Did what I could.
Look at you.
I'll take that 99, Justin.
Hey, it's better than nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Time is 9:50, temperature 83 degrees.
Next in Hollywood, who's taking the box office by storm and how Elemental set a first in Pixar history.
Under the sea, under the sea.
The Little Mermaid swam down to 5th place, snapping up $11.6 million for a domestic total of $253 million. Transformers Rise of the Beast fell to 4th place with $20 million, a 67% drop from its debut. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse took 3rd, earning $27.8 million and topping $280 million domestic.
Sorry.
Elemental opened in 2nd place with $29.5 million, one of the weakest debuts in Pixar history.
I went back in time to save my parents.
The Flash got off to a less than speedy start. The DC superhero flick made $55 million, considerably less than expected, though still enough to claim the top spot. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
And if you've been thinking about sprucing up your backyard, you'll want to tune in tomorrow. We'll be speaking with an expert about taking on some outdoor projects, how to stick to your budget, and when a project should be DIY or it should be done by a professional. So tune in for that live Q&A tomorrow morning on GMSA at 9.
Just a friendly reminder, closures for today include all city libraries, the municipal court, and all Metro Health clinics and offices. Now, some city services will remain available, like animal care services and, of course, our city parks and trails.
All right, and taking a look at those San Antonio roadways, I-35, those southbound lanes at 35 in St. Mary's by the Brooklyn exit. Looks like it's still closed off. We're going to be keeping an eye on that and updating you as we get more information on that closure.
Yeah, there was hardly anyone on the roads this morning, A, because it's a holiday, and I think B, people were just staying indoors today.
They're like over it.
We're done.
This weekend was enough.
Yeah, let me just find the AC. 103 today. Heat index, though, will be up around 112. There is a small chance for storm that could pop up in the hill country. We'll see that today and tomorrow. A few of those storms could drift a little bit closer Wednesday, Thursday, but there's nothing that's going to take this heat away. The numbers come down a little bit, but not a lot. We're still probably looking at triple digits all the way through next weekend.
Okay, so now I'm like, as soon as I get home, I need to walk the dogs. I don't even know if it's safe enough. In the shade, maybe?
I don't think so. It may
yeah,
not be.
Those sidewalks get hot. I know, I need to do
even at night, though, like by 8:30, it's still too hot.
It's still hot. Yeah, even the dogs, you know, when they get to the door, they feel the heat and they just turn right back around.
My dog does the exact same thing.
Yep.
Does not want to be outside at all.
Nope.
Everyone's experiencing it.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
You got it.
All right, San Antonio, thank you for joining us.
Have a great day.